Greetings, EastEnders fans, and welcome to another episode of Albert Square After Dark, your weekly EastEnders podcast. This week, discussing the episodes broadcast between the 5th to the 8th of January 2026. Hello there, how are you this week? Everyone in the UK, how are you doing with all the snow and weather events that have been kicking off this week? Storm Goretti, if you're not in the UK, we've had a big old storm this week. Probably nothing compared to things that other countries get, but like one flake of snow in this country just stops everything. Absolutely everything. Doesn't it, Ray?
Yeah, it does literally like me getting to my parents' house to record this morning to drop my daughter off. So, yeah, hello.
It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous, really. Like, a bit of snow and the whole country grinds to a halt.
It's because we're never prepared, are we? I'm saying this, I don't know how easy it is to, get grits on every street in the UK in case it does happen to snow, but
I can tell you how easy it is. It hasn't snowed where I am. It's just rained. And I was on my way back from the pub last night, and there was a gritter driving along the road. I was like, what the hell are you out for? There's nothing for you to do.
Can you send him my way, please?
Yeah, gladly.
Send him my way. My street's horrendous. I'm on a hill.
Why are you here? What are you doing? What are you gritting? Yeah. There's no reason for you to be out whatsoever. It's rained and that's it. So there we go.
It's been a miserable week here. We had black ice the other day as well. Didn't dare blooming move. Oh, I hate it. Just in case anyone doesn't know, I hate snow.
I love snow. That's why I'm dressed as snow today, if you're not watching. I've got a big old white hoodie on. I love snow. It's my favourite weather event. Because we never get it. That's why. Anyway, ladies and gents, let's talk award ceremonies. The vote is now open for the Albert Square After Dark Awards for 2025. This is where you can click to vote for all your favourite performances, all your favourite storylines, all of it, and you can vote on the link that you will find in the show notes below. And we will be doing the award ceremony at some point next week, I should think, won't we? Somewhere around then, we'll arrange it. But we will. The vote is now open, so get voting for your favourite, and please only vote once. Don't be one of them. Don't be one of them.
I've got to put it out there. Look, you have got to have a registered email address for it because we don't want everybody triple million voting. It will not registered. Like I think it's a Gmail, but. Yeah. Just be warned, I do apologise. There is no other fair way of doing it. But please do it anyway. Because
and we have to, to be fair, we have to do it like that because didn't we get bots?
We got some bots on it, which is why we have to do it like that. Yeah.
It's nothing to do with people going, we love you, so I'm going to create 7 million email accounts in order to vote for them. It's the fact that bots and things.
I don't know why.
I don't know how it works or why it happens or why bots would care. But bots do.
Yeah, I don't. Why would bots care?
Why are bots caring? Much more botty things to worry about, surely. Anyway, so that's open, so get voting, please. On to this week's EastEnders. It was a week, I think, that got better as it went along. We started in some very odd places, I thought.
Very odd place. Very, very odd places.
Very odd places.
Do you know what? Trying to do something with the Slaters, and it's just nothing seems to be hitting with them at the minute. Like, don't get me wrong, it's not all bad and everything, but like it seems to be the failing point, which is meant to be the focus of the show at the minute.
It seems quite mad that last week we were all like, "Oh wow, the flash forward and everything was really exciting, really," and we had nothing about that this week whatsoever. I know they've got a whole year to tell whatever they're telling with the flash forward, but like Max was barely in it this week, and it's sort of like that feels like it was maybe a bit of an anticlimax to what was built up to last week. You know,
anticlimax, yeah.
Oh.
Sorry. I know what you're saying. It just felt a bit. Do you know what? Sometimes with this era, it feels like you'll have like a really good week, and then it just goes meh, and then a really good meh, and you don't really know you don't know what to expect, do you? But there we go.
But there was good in this week. There was. Like
definitely.
I say, it got better as the week went on, and I thought we ended on quite a good note with the Ravi storyline. So
yes.
Let's crack on. We're talking about it in this week's
Albert Square After Dark.
Right, let's kick off this week. We're talking about Jean. Madness at the start of the week. Absolute madness.
Do you mean Detective Inspector Jean?
D.I. Slater, apparently. Right, so it was very much established this week. I'll take back what I said last week. I have a feeling that I said last week that I don't know if Jean is having an episode. I feel like she's just...
I think we both said this. We were both confused because she seemed like down and then she seemed quite... just Jean.
Yeah, which I suppose in itself should be a suggestion that maybe something is like a little bit untoward with her. But I think it was official this week that she was in an episode because we had the hot flushes and everything that is apparently really common. And she certainly was becoming quite obsessive. Now, as the week went on, this story started to make a bit more sort of narrative sense to me. I was
Yeah.
okay with her weirdly, I was absolutely fine with her sort of seeing the devil in Jasmine and all of that
Yeah,
kind of
yeah.
thing.
Same.
Fine. No issues with that whatsoever.
Hmm.
Where I did have an issue was Detective Inspector Jean Slater. I don't
Yeah, I
understand what
agree.
they were going for with this because I can understand the I can understand her becoming obsessed with the idea of solving Anthony's murder, but not to the
Yeah.
point where she seems to physically believe that she is a police officer.
Yeah, it was a bit bizarre, and I was like, are we supposed to be laughing? Like, don't get me wrong, I think some of it was supposed to be humorous, but then
Yeah.
are you not taking away from a very serious issue that
I
you're trying
mean,
to
there's
portray
an
here
element of it that
as
I
well?
kind of think that, like, there's an element of it that I kind of wonder if was with these sorts of storylines, even with Nigel's story, I
Mm,
kind of feel like there's always, I think, in terms of coping mechanisms, I feel like for people that are going through that, there's areas of humor to be kind of taken out of it. Do you know what I mean?
yeah,
In terms of,
yeah,
coping and sort of, because some of the situations that some of these illnesses cause are
yeah,
kind of quite mad sometimes, aren't they? So I can
yeah.
understand that, but I don't know if I believe that anybody in Jean's position has ever believed themselves to be a police officer. Like going around calling Alfie Moon as though he's her assistant or something, and like
Do you think she
wearing a
actually did
suit and
believe
everything.
she was one though, or she was just trying to take on the persona and it were a bit like method acting? And well, if I try and convince myself to be a
I don't
detective, I'm going to
know.
actually solve the crime better because she's like, oh, I've been looking it up. It weren't like she was literally saying, I am a detective. Do you know what I
But this is
mean?
what, but everything that she was doing, like sort of looking up, like
Mm.
suspect motives and what to do to lock down a scene and
Yeah.
all that kind of thing. I can
Yeah.
get that, but
Yeah. Yeah.
it was just the whole. She did seem to believe that she was a police officer, like the way that she was talking to Alfie as though he was her subordinate and all of that kind of thing. It just felt weird to me. I didn't
And
see
I
what they were
thought
trying
she
to
was,
do.
oh, and I took that as Jean almost trying to make some kind of light of it by like being like Moon and doing what she's seen in like detective shows to
She
him, but
didn't
then
seem to
still
be in
trying
a.
to solve the crime.
She didn't seem to be in a joking mood when she did any of it. I would say.
Well, no, that is true, but I just felt like she was trying to be like, "Oh, look, I'm in character," not actually being in it. Does that make
I don't.
sense?
Yeah, but
You
I
could
don't.
argue breakfast and a Slasky, Rob,
You
if
could,
one would like
well,
to,
the
really.
Stanislavskian ways of solving a murder, I feel, had maybe could have been studied by Gene at that moment. But I don't know. I feel like it's not in terms of Gene's mind at that point. I feel like it's not that layered because I feel like it's like I
Yeah, I know
mean,
what you're saying.
you know,
Yeah,
especially
yeah.
later on in the week where she's like, "Oh well, Jasmine's the
Mm.
devil." That's it. You know, there's no sort of like it's not like she was dressed as a priest at any point when she was doing that bit. Do you know what I mean? It wasn't like she was trying to
Yeah, I know what you're
it wasn't like she was
saying.
trying to
Yeah,
exercise her
yeah,
or anything like that. But
yeah.
I just thought the police kind of weird that was just weird. I don't know what they were going for with that.
Yeah, I agree with you on that. It didn't land, shall we say.
Yes. So, I mean, but from there, I think the story improved because then she
Yeah,
starts becoming kind of quite obsessed with the idea of Jasmine being evil and sort of
yeah.
relating her to the devil, not helped by the fact that she started watching what I can only take to be some sort of cult religious leader person on YouTube, which kind of
The
worries me
Drake
that
Zagan of
yeah, the
cult
great, yeah,
devil
of
people.
devilism. You know what I mean? Like it's, and I can imagine that those things do exist as well. But
Yeah,
it's sort of
yeah.
like when you've got someone in Jean's mind, and by that
Mm.
point, she is having like hot flushes. You know, everyone else is freezing in the house, and Jean's boiling hot. Like that's grade one classic episode stuff that she's going through there. Because I remember them talking about all of that when Stacey was first diagnosed with bipolar.
Yes, yeah. So she's
So
definitely in an episode, like you said,
yeah,
that kind
hundred
of is
percent.
the physical
And
side as well.
yeah, and Alfie is being left to deal with all of this because Kat, this frustrated me because I
I know
wanted
this
to,
frustrated me.
oh, because they mentioned Door, and I was like, oh, we see Door again. I love Door. We
Hmm.
want to see Door again, but we didn't see Door again. We just saw more of Detective Jean, and I was sort of like, I really wanted to see Door because Kat
Yeah.
has now gone off. Where's she gone? Has she gone to Ibiza? Where's she gone? She's gone somewhere abroad to try and
Oh
find
no, where
Chrissy.
was it now?
Where was it? I can't remember, but she's gone
I
abroad
can't
to.
either, but it was
She's got a
somewhere that we've
yeah,
yeah.
somewhere on a plane. She's gone to sort of track
Mm.
Chrissy down, and so Alfie is left to deal with everything that's going on, including moving Jasmine into the Vic. So who do you? Where are you on who killed Anthony at this point?
They've not really shown us any new suspects recently, so I'm still kind
No,
of leaning towards. I feel like Tommy for some reason. I think
that's
after the other week.
yeah. Tommy's not a bad shout. I'm sort of like. I am leaning more to like last week I was leaning away from Jasmine and
Mm.
just the amount of sort of attention that Jean specifically was putting on Jasmine this week kind of made me wonder if maybe it is Jasmine, and because Jean was
Mm.
having an episode, no one's going to pay any attention to it whatsoever.
I do know what you mean. It could easily be Jasmine, but then I feel like they'd have to show Jasmine like having a having a bit more of a personal crisis
Well,
about it because she's
I
then
feel like she
found out
was
it were a
doing that.
dad.
I feel like she was doing that last week and the week before.
True, it could easily be Jasmine, and it'd be the most easiest way of explaining it and conceivable, to be honest.
Mm.
Or just Chrissy. For me, it's Tommy or Chrissy because I feel like I wish Jasmine seems too obvious, but I didn't even realise until you pointed it out of the week.
Yeah.
But
I mean,
then the obvious thing has always been the obvious way recently,
yeah, yeah.
and just chucking red herrings in.
The Chrissy thing doesn't make any sense to me though. Like I said I think a couple of
Yeah, I
weeks
know what you
ago,
mean.
like it would have to have gone so perfectly for Chrissy to do that.
Yeah.
And why did she go upstairs? There's just too much of it that doesn't make sense. That doesn't, unfortunately, necessarily mean that it isn't Chrissy that did it. You know what I
No.
mean?
I know what you mean. If it ends up being that it was Chrissy, then it'd be implied that she'd planned it all somehow. And how could she
Yeah,
have planned it to the T like that?
yeah.
Unless it was Chrissy and actually she didn't plan it. She just went in to go and find Zoe at that moment and saw what happened and thought, oh, I can frit. Yeah,
Maybe, but
maybe.
again, it's sort of I don't know, I don't know. Chrissy seemed too surprised that everyone was feeling really jumpy when they all came down to see her on that Christmas day. So I don't know, but I
I
guess we'll
should have
find out
bluffed
at
in, but
some
there we
point,
go.
or maybe she was. Who knows? Jean, meanwhile, I mean, there was a marvelous moment this week when Jean flew across the bar to try and attack Jasmine. She was not. That was yeah, yeah. Jean the
Yeah,
stunt
I
woman.
actually felt sorry for Jasmine this week. She's just come into this new Slater family. She's not really encountered Jean much.
No, I mean, what do you do if this is the first Jean you meet?
Yeah,
Can
innit? This
you
is
imagine?
Jean, Jasmine.
Yeah. Hi,
Okay.
lovely to meet you.
Mm,
Like, me and you are going to be the best of friends. um,
yeah.
yeah, Jean is not in a great place with Jasmine this week at all, and she does just consistently believe that Jasmine is responsible for everything going wrong, everybody leaving
She's
her.
not wrong in some
Well,
ways.
she starts
Like,
blaming Jasmine for like things like Stacey leaving
oh
and
yeah, yeah.
Freddie leaving and everything like that. So she starts to sort of associate Jasmine with everything bad that has been going on in her life the past few months, even before Jasmine even showed up. I imagine that she's got
Yeah.
issues. No, it's her fault that Sean's gone. It's her fault. It's her
Yeah,
fault that
yeah,
everyone.
yeah.
It's her fault.
Everything.
It's Jasmine's fault that Daniel died. You know, all of that kind of
Yeah.
thing.
Mm.
And so in the end, this kind of culminates in her effectively taking Jasmine hostage upstairs in the Vic with a stool.
Yeah. That was uncomfortable. I really felt for Jasmine in that. I actually was a bit scared that she was genuinely going to attack Jasmine in that
Yeah.
moment.
I mean, it seemed to be the state that she was in. Oscar sort of saves the situation, and then
Mm.
Alfie sort of kind of drags her away and locks her in a room. Eve, I thought, was a star throughout all of this, considering everything that Eve
Yeah.
was doing this week and trying to deal with her adoption meeting and everything like that. I thought Eve dealt with Jean so well. I love Eve within the Slater unit.
I'm glad that they brought Eve back into the unit actually because
Yes.
I have been thinking, shouldn't Eve be a bit more involved, especially like
Yeah.
with Lily and Charlie? Then arguably you could say shouldn't Stacey technically have come back by now, but obviously we know
I mean,
there's
this is
reasons for
the
that.
problem. I think the problem with this is that under any other circumstances, you would be ringing Stacey up and saying, "Yeah, no, you need to come
Yeah,
home. This is, you need to at least come and
yeah,
sort Jean out. Go back afterwards, fine, but
yeah, yeah,
like you need to be
yeah.
here right now." And unfortunately, that isn't going to happen at the moment. So
No,
it's sort of like they kind of keep coming up with excuses as to why they're not going
yeah,
to involve Stacey in this
yeah,
whatsoever because she's having
yeah.
such a great time in Brazil.
I mean, fair enough,
I
but
like the fact that Gene said this week. I don't even know where Sean is. It's like you know where Sean is.
oh
He's where
yeah,
Stacey is. You know what I mean? It's like
yeah, yeah.
mind gone completely.
Bless
Um,
her.
and so Alfie has to try and like basically get Jean to take in this new batch of medication, which
Yes.
should balance her out a little bit more.
Yeah, is it not quite alarming that when, people are in these mental health situations that they've not got like a doctor actually keeping an eye on them as well to make sure of this? Like, what about those people who don't have family members?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know how it all works, to be honest. I mean, I think, you've got to sort of consider on a day-to-day basis, it's okay.
Mm.
But I think that you're sort of relying on, I mean, they haven't got the resources to do that, have they? Really?
Well, do you know what? Jean reminds me more and more of my nan. Like,
Hmm.
obviously, you know what's happened with my
Yeah,
nan and
yeah.
things. And in my nan's situation with things like this, I mean, it's a bit different. My nan's like had to be sectioned before,
Mm.
but they keep a really close eye on her. Like, but she has to stay in a mental health unit. And for me, I'm thinking, I think Jean's at that stage now
Gene
where
needs sectioning.
To be honest, yeah, because she's not in reality, is she? She's
No.
in, and when they're at that stage, I can only go on my personal experience that I've had with my nan going through similar kind of things. They have to really monitor like how this medication affects them because sometimes it don't work, and they
Mm.
go, right, we need to adapt it, or sometimes it can take weeks. Meanwhile, in those weeks that it can take to work, they're still not living in our reality and having all these different, and she's actually proving quite dangerous now, isn't she?
Yeah,
She's tried
like
to attack Jasmine twice.
yeah, she's and in front of everybody as well. So she's not
Mm,
sort of doing it behind closed doors or anything. Like she's
no.
openly kind of quite a danger to people. Like Lily even turned around to her and said, "I don't want Charlie around you at the moment." So
Yeah, which
it
is
does.
quite. Who was it? Were it Kat or Alfie who said to I think Jasmine recently? Like, oh, don't worry. Even when Jean's like, having a mental health
She's
episode, like
harmless.
she'll never hurt anyone. And then
I
it's
think
like, yeah,
it's
she's just
yeah.
tried to attack her with
And
a
then five
stool.
minutes later, she's holding a hostage with a stool. I'm leaning more towards that she might be okay after the
The
medication.
medication will just be okay, and she'll be all right. Sure.
But will that change your views on Jasmine?
What Jean's views?
Yeah,
Interesting. Interesting.
because apparently her views on
Maybe
Zoe have
not.
changed
I know, right? It's like she's shifted all of this anger that she had towards Zoe
onto
now on
Jasmine.
Jasmine.
Yeah,
Maybe it is just, she's trying to blame somebody for everyone leaving her, isn't she? That's where
mm.
it comes down to ultimately, I think.
Yeah.
But in fairness, Jean, even Jasmine White, Jean has got a point. I did do lots of like
Yeah, but I
really
don't blame
shady
her, to be
stuff
honest.
to everyone. Yeah,
This is
yeah.
fine. I understand this. Yeah, I don't know, but I think, like I said, what I will say is fair play to Gillian Wright, who I thought got given some rubbish to deal with on Monday, and she acted it all like really convincingly and everything. Like, I feel
Yeah.
like sometimes you can tell when an actor isn't quite believing what the script is asking
Mm,
them to say, but I feel
yeah.
like she kind of delivered it all really convincingly. You know,
I agree. I think she's always she's
she
just
is
so
good. She's a
amazing at
mate.
playing
Yeah,
Jean, isn't
she
she? And
is
like you
great.
said,
Yeah.
whatever she's given, she'll still give it her all. I think
Yeah,
so. Yeah, fair
absolutely.
play.
But I'm pleased that it sort of rightened itself out
Mm,
throughout the week. We didn't just stick with Detective Inspector Jean
yeah,
Slater throughout the entire
yeah,
week, because as if they were trying to do a pilot for some sort of spin-off where Jean goes around being for
yeah.
solving murders. I don't know if that would
It
have
was
worked.
strange. It didn't.
Mm.
Yeah, it didn't quite land that. She also, while she was in, was it while she was still being Detective Jean? She goes around to Yolandi and Patrick's, doesn't she?
Oh,
And then
yes. Well,
tries to talk to Yolandi about it all.
I feel like that was the start of it sort of starting to make more narrative sense again. Like it was almost as
Yeah,
though they sort of had to maybe fill a bit of the episode before they got to the stuff that was actually what the story was actually about, which was
yeah,
Jean going into an episode. Like I understand
yeah,
the detective stuff was supposed to be part of that, but it was sort of
yeah,
like I feel like you could have just kept it at the, Jasmine is evil tone throughout the whole
yeah.
week and it would have been fine.
Yeah, definitely. Do you think this might be what'll help Patrick like start getting to know Jasmine?
Yeah, maybe. I mean, I thought that the stuff with Patrick and Yolandi was interesting this week, where you've sort of got Patrick is just kind of just closing himself off, like he thinks
Hmm.
he's a failure of a father, he's blaming
Bless
himself for
him.
everything. Yolandi's not kind of dealing with it too well. I think that she's really struggling to
Mm,
sort of try and help him.
yeah,
And Jean bursting in like she did, just sprouting all of this rubbish, was not
yeah.
helping the situation whatsoever.
Well, this is what I'm thinking. Will Yolandi then say, is this the right, like, is moving in with the Slaters the right thing for Jasmine? And will she maybe,
Mm.
try and get her to get to know her granddad a bit more, the Truman side of the family with all this going on? I don't know.
Yeah, the thing is with Jasmine, I like her as a character, but I'm trying to
Mm,
just I don't know whether I dare get invested in her as a character too much, because
I know
in
what you
case she
mean.
turns out to be
Yeah.
the killer and then leaves, I don't know whether she is going to be like a full-time resident, and
Mhm.
when this Anthony's murder mystery is solved, then she's still going to be there or not.
I see, and I feel like with the Anthony murder, they're going to make it be, I've said Tommy, but I actually do think they're going to end up just making it Chrissy, and that it's somebody that we don't have to see a court case
So
with.
it doesn't
And
have too much effect on everything that's going on
y-
screen.
yeah, otherwise, I feel like maybe we'd have seen a little bit more of the whodunit side. I feel like it happened
Mm.
at Christmas. We've got a few people who it could be, and then that's it. They've not really done a massive focus on it. I could be eating my words. Maybe they're going to do a bit more next week, but.
No,
Yeah, I don't know. For me, I mean, do you know somebody else though that it could be? I'm watching too much Traitors though at the minute because I'm like,
Fiona,
oh,
Fiona might have done it.
could it be Alfie?
I've seen a
Because
couple of
he's,
theories, yeah, but I can't see
yeah,
Alfie doing that, in all honesty. It doesn't seem to. I can't imagine Alfie putting everyone in the Slaters through that. You know, it
Very
just
true. When
doesn't
he knows
feel.
it were him all along.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and
true.
actually I don't think that Alfie would be able to cope with that either.
But he's not, is he? Remember when he takes Jean to the doctors and he like says, "Oh, I've not slept since all of this has happened," and blah
That
blah
poor
blah.
doctor, honestly,
Like,
that doctor was not the look on that doctor's face was I am not getting paid enough.
oh, Rob, he lives on Albert Square. You know,
Oh,
he'll know. He'll be like,
it's
"Oh
busy
yeah,
enough.
don't worry, I'm used to it here. Yeah, yeah. Oh,
Yeah,
you've had so. Oh yeah, that murder. Yeah, saw all
yeah. Oh
about
yeah, I
that.
saw all
He'll
that.
not be fazed by it."
Yeah. Oh, you've got an instant wall, have you? Like the fans do when they're solving one of their own, solving the six storyline. Yeah, no, I've got one of
Like
them
the
at home as
six,
well. Yeah,
2023. Yeah, I
yeah,
hear
yeah.
you.
Right, ladies and gents, let's now move on to the next story. The Nigel storyline this week, they go to a care home and
Yeah.
Nigel freaks out basically. And honestly, I can't blame him for freaking out a little bit because can you
Mm,
imagine, like, bearing in mind that this is early onset dementia that Nigel's got, and you're sort of walking in to this place where I think the what they were giving across was that Nigel was basically walking into a room full of what he saw as old people and like
yeah.
being helped around and everything. It's sort of like I don't belong here. This is weird and discombobulating and all that kind of thing, you know?
It is dementia care homes are a strange thing anyway, really, aren't they? Because like we've said, it's better for somebody to be in their home environment, and then when it's got worse, you're putting them in this really unfamiliar environment.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I understand obviously because they're better suited to deal with
Of
it, but
course, yeah,
that
yeah.
initial movement must be
Mm,
so confusing and so
mm,
scary for everybody that's
yeah,
involved in that. Never mind the person who's actually got the dementia or the Alzheimer's. Like you're
yeah.
actually putting them in a really scary situation. It's nobody's fault that it's like that, but
Hmm.
yeah, it can't be easy. And I think I can understand why Phil kind of went back on what he was saying this week and was like, actually, no, this is a bad idea. I
Do you
get
know
it's
what?
wrong, but I get what he's
It's
saying.
I like that they're doing that though, because it's a very
Uh,
realistic way
I
that
think so.
families do
Yeah,
deal with
yeah.
this kind of thing as well. Because you've got like Julie, who of course would prefer not to put Nigel in a
But
care
what choice
home,
has she got? Yeah,
but knows for her, like knows it's the right thing,
mm,
really.
yeah,
But then you've got Phil who didn't agree, then agrees to it, then goes and sees it and changes his mind again.
mm,
And there's always going to be disagreements with family members. I'm classing Phil as family
of course.
about what
Don't
is
we
the
all?
right
Uncle
about
Phil.
about what is the right thing to do.
Yeah,
But it's quite realistic that they're showing this side actually, and that they've not just gone, "Oh yeah, let's do it. Oh,
yeah,
we'll put him
100%.
there, done."
Yeah,
I'm glad that they're actually going into it. And Julie's got to sell the house
mm,
in Scotland as well to fund it, which is
yes, yeah,
a very realistic approach of showing it
yeah, yeah.
because
It's not cheap.
that's basically well, they do that. So somebody like with my granddad, when we were looking at care homes for him, um, we basically you sell the house and that goes straight to the government to pay for the care. That's
Mm,
how it all works. If you don't own a property, then
yeah.
essentially the government pay
What
for
do you
it.
do?
But otherwise, yeah.
Where I'm slightly less with Phil this
Mm,
week was when Nigel sort of clocks a picture of a beach and decides that he wants to go to a
yeah,
beach, and
yeah,
Phil's like, "Right, that's cool. I'll take you to Portugal and to see
yeah.
Grant." It's like,
Not Margate or
no,
something.
no, take you to Skegness. Do you know what I mean? There's a beach
Yeah, yeah,
there. You
yeah,
know, don't
yeah.
take him abroad. That's like, well, I thought we'd been through this with Nigel when he realised, no,
Hmm.
India will be a very bad idea.
Yeah,
I won't
right.
understand India, and he's not going to understand Portugal. I know that the idea is to take him to Grant and have him surrounded by people
Yeah.
who will care for him and look after him and everything, but it's like getting there on a plane and going through the madness that is any airport in London.
Yeah.
Like, bad idea, Phil.
Yeah, agreed. Not a good, like, yeah, like we said, like, why Portugal? Just, yeah, Skeggy. Clean your
Yeah,
soaps,
just take him
come
to
on.
Cleethorpes. He'll have a
Yeah.
lovely day. He'll win a hooker duck and he'll win a
Mm,
goldfish, and then you can come home and then
that's
you can
it.
like, say what a lovely day we had at the seaside. That's all you need to
Yeah.
do. You don't need to take him thousands of miles across Europe. It's
It's
like just
Phil. It's Phil trying to. He's clutched
yeah,
at that one little comment, hasn't he? Of,
hundred
oh, he wants
percent.
to go to a
Yeah,
beach, so now I need to take
right.
him to Portugal.
That's it. I'll
Obviously,
take him to Sydney. That's what needs to
yeah.
happen here.
We'll
I'll
go
take him to
Australia.
Summer
Yeah,
Bay.
why not?
Why not? Yeah. So
Yeah.
Julie obviously does not know about this.
Mm.
So that's going to be interesting when that comes out. Sam, meanwhile, we have appear to have had Sam's official diagnosis of breast cancer happen off screen.
Yeah, it's a strange one, this, isn't it? It's like, is it that she's having something removed and then she's still got to have radiotherapy? So it's
Yeah,
like early stages, so it's not,
yeah.
yeah,
But it's like
stage
when she
four,
first
but
arrived, she'd found a lump.
Hmm.
and assumed that it was breast cancer, and had to be persuaded to go to a doctor and have that confirmed.
Mm.
But we never got the confirmation that it was
That
breast
is so
cancer on
true.
screen, which feels really weird to me.
Yeah, we should have seen it because I believe her, but
Yeah,
then why have we
yeah.
not seen any of it? And I know that we're supposed to believe her anyway, but you're right.
It
You
kind of
could say
feels
we've
like
not actually seen it, and we should see that
we should
moment.
have seen that, because like being
Yeah.
told that you have breast cancer is a pretty
Mm.
big thing, you know. I feel like they
Yeah.
should have, what they probably should have done is like had a like arrive on the square, I have breast cancer. I've seen to a doctor, I've had it confirmed, and then go through
Yeah.
that journey from there. And I'm sort of now, she arrives in Wolford having this diagnosis confirmed to her and is trying to make amends, and then everybody sort of rallies around her, and we're into the story
Yeah.
as we are now. But it just feels really weird that she didn't know 100% when she first arrived, and then we have the confirmation of it off screen, which feels like a big character moment that we should have seen.
Yeah, I agree. Why haven't we seen it? You don't think, I mean, how long is Sam back for? I know it's not for a long
Yeah, I mean it's not
stint.
it's not for long, so I feel like we're sort of maybe fast forwarding through what's happening here a little bit, which
Well, this
again
is what I
doesn't.
was going to say. I hope that they've not just, they wanted the whole Christmas day with Zoe, Sam, and Chrissy,
Yeah,
and they're not just going to go, all right, well, we'll speed through the breast cancer
yeah,
stuff because that was kind of our excuse in inverted commas
yeah.
for
I mean,
bringing her
it does
back.
feel like a big reason to bring Sam back was that Christmas Day episode, to have the trio back
Yeah.
on screen again.
Hmm.
I mean, I would hope that from here we'll focus on it a lot more, because at the
Yeah.
minute Sam is actually kind of like a background character at the minute, isn't she? It's not like, I don't feel
Yeah.
like we've really focused on this story all that much since she's been back, which is odd.
No, I think we've seen a bit of like almost, I don't want to say character development, a bit of character growth. Like she's had a couple of
Yeah,
scenes with Charlie and stuff and taking more of an interest in
yes,
Charlie.
that's
But then
nice.
what, she's
Yeah.
just going to go. I mean, that is Sam, I guess,
That's
but
Sam all over, really, isn't it? Yeah. I
mm,
mean, yeah. Hopefully, in the coming weeks, we're going to really focus on her more, and like you say, growth for Sam would be a great thing as well.
hmm,
Like, when she realizes that actually, if considering that obviously the outcome of this seems to be that she's going to get through this,
yeah,
and sort of realize, well, look at what you've got. This is what you
yeah,
could have lost.
hmm,
So maybe it's time to step up and be a bit better. But the fact that she's not going to be around for long suggests that that's not going to
yeah,
happen, and she's just going to go back
exactly,
to Portugal or Ibiza or somewhere like that and carry on
yeah,
living the life of Sam Mitchell.
yeah, and leave Ricky to it with Charlie XCX and
Yeah,
what. She don't even know any details about her. I don't know. Maybe they'll write in that they've gone to see her a bit more or something. I don't know.
maybe, but we'll see. But yeah, the Phil and Nigel stuff. I will say, I think that the producer change sometimes when a story is going on in one era and then
Mm,
carries on in another, you can feel like a real sort of like it goes downhill quite quickly.
yeah.
But with this, I feel like they've actually really kept this story above water throughout the whole time.
I
So
agree, actually. It's been quite a smooth transition,
yeah,
actually, in that
very,
regard.
very. They've been quite
So
respectful with it, and I think it's been really nicely handled all the way through.
we're like still at the start of January, pretty much. Do you think he's going to be gone then for the anniversary?
I
It's
think
going to be
so.
in it.
I think
Yeah, I
so.
think
I
it as
feel
well.
like I can believe it from here that
Yeah,
he's got about a month left. I
yeah.
think they can get away with that. I think. Sad, sad.
Get the tissues at the ready then for
Exactly.
February.
Happy birthday, EastEnders. On to Linda now, and Linda. Finally, Linda is doing something for Linda. It's like
Yes, of all the things that you
of
could
all
do
the
for yourself as well.
honestly, I mean, Honey turning around to Linda and saying, "Isn't it about when was the last time you did something for you, Linda, other than that 5 month cruise that you've just stepped off 2 weeks ago?" Like, are you
So true.
joking?
No,
Are
all of
you
that,
joking?
yeah.
Like, honestly. But Linda has had an invitation to go to a school reunion. I can tell you
Yeah.
now, without a shadow of a doubt, I would not be going to any school reunion.
I was debating this, right? I
Uni
was like, would I
reunion?
go to a
Hell yeah.
school? Yeah, yeah. I don't know. I feel like I've kept in touch with old people from uni that I'm that bothered about, Rob, if I'm honest with you, but there you
Wow. So
go.
just me then.
And
Nice.
another one. And
I'm
another
very
one.
honoured, very touched and honoured. You lived across the road from her anyway.
Well, I didn't. We didn't know each other till
Oh, did you
uni.
not? Oh, I thought you lived in the
No.
same. Oh, well, there you go then. Anyway,
See?
I wouldn't
Anyway,
go to a
sorry, we
school reunion,
digress.
is what I was saying. Would you?
I'd be 50-50 because I feel like I'd only want to see a few people anyway. And if I were that bothered about seeing them, why wouldn't I just suggest, hi guys, it's been a few years. Shall we meet up? I
Yeah.
wouldn't want to meet. There'd be like so many people I wouldn't want to see at a
Yeah,
school
this is what I
reunion
mean. All the
or that
school
I'd
bullies.
remember.
Yeah, all
I'd be
the
like,
school bullies. Oh, yeah, there is that as well. I did get invited to one a few weeks ago, not a few months ago rather,
Oh,
and I was like looking through the people that had been invited on the list, and was like, some of these people I had forgotten even existed. Do you know what I mean?
yeah,
Like it's
yeah,
just like, and I would probably, if I'd passed them in the street, I probably wouldn't have even remembered who they were.
yeah,
It's mad, isn't it?
exactly. And who would
And
even go to it? Like, who would,
yeah,
do you know what I mean? Who'd actually go to a school reunion?
well, if you, Linda's school, all of them, it would transpire. Um,
Except all of her friends that she was popular girls
Yeah,
with.
all of those. Well, that's because
Okay,
they're too successful to have been attending
clearly.
a school,
Yeah, of
and they also
course.
knew that they had guilt written through them like a stick of rock, and
Yeah, they were aware.
B would have them because Honey and Linda go to the school reunion. Why Honey decides to tag along, I don't know, but I quite like the idea of Honey just like going along to a random school reunion just to get pissed. I quite like that.
She
It's
went
something
with
I do.
Elaine, didn't she, and Jean?
Yeah, that's what I
You know,
do.
not long ago.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's what I do.
sure.
Best friends with Nicola. I like this era of Honey where she just like flitters into people's stories and just peppers a little bit of humour into them.
I was just about to say, I like that Honey injects that little bit of humour.
Mm,
Sometimes it's a bit like, all right, she won't be that daft, but okay, fine.
just
I'll take it.
spread a bit of honey over a story for a
Yeah.
bit of sweetness, you know?
Aye.
That's what you do.
Aye.
That's what you do. But they go to the school reunion, and at the door, they realise that people are being name checked. So Linda obviously has a badge because she's Linda Peacock, as was. And Honey doesn't have a badge because Honey didn't go to that school. So she has to Linda grabs a badge randomly off a table of B. Pollard. I did quite enjoy the whole sort of B. Pollen
Yeah.
lip operation thing. I thought that was quite funny.
Yeah.
And so Honey becomes B. Pollard. And so in they go. And unfortunately, they come face to face with the real B. Pollard inside. Now, a slight kind of, I don't like doing this, but a slight plot stumble there was how did
Yeah.
B get in?
If she didn't have a name badge.
If
That's
she didn't have a
exactly what
name
I was
badge.
thinking. If it was that big of a deal
Yeah, that they
that
were
Honey
name
needed
checking
to nick
everybody.
one.
Yeah,
Yeah.
how did B get in the first place?
Did she say, well, I'm B, someone's took my name badge, and then why
Yeah,
did they not go and check who'd got her name badge?
yeah.
But anyway, yeah.
Anyway,
But I
anyway.
agree.
And this is B. Pollard, played by Ronnie Anaconda. I can never say her
Mhm.
name. I always want to say Anaconda, and it's not
And
Anaconda because
that's all I want to say. Yeah.
that's a snake.
Yes, that
It's
is a
not
snake.
Anaconda. But Ronnie is kind of quite famous in EastEnders land for doing a fabulous Peggy Mitchell impression in the Alistair McGowan
Yes.
days, isn't she? So
Yes. The Alice McGowan big impressions. I used to love
yes,
that show when I was
it was a good
younger.
show. It was a good show, and she
Yeah.
did do a very funny Peggy Mitchell. I'll give her
Yeah.
that. I used to like the little walks that she used to give Peggy. She'd be on her
Yeah.
knees and just sort of walk around like a little robot, breasts forward. It was great.
Yes, always chest
Yeah,
out. Yep,
yeah,
yep.
yeah, quite funny. But she's a real character here, B.
Mm.
Now, it does transpire that Linda and her little group of friends, Linda apparently was a bit of a mean girl, and I can kind of see it, actually.
Yeah. You can, and you can also see that she'd have the unawareness of the fact that she was in the Mean Girl crib.
Yeah.
It's quite believable, to
Well,
be fair.
unawareness or denial,
Yeah, maybe a bit of both. Maybe a bit of both.
I think.
Well, just I guess when you're younger though, she might not have even genuinely wouldn't have realised her actions. It's only because it's been pointed out that she can reflect and go, actually, now he's saying it, yeah, that wasn't cool. But in her perspective at the time, she
She
might
was
not
just
have
being
even
the popular
considered
kid.
it.
I mean,
Yeah,
I feel like Elaine later on in the week when she was like, well, you were one of the most popular kids at school. So I can't
yeah,
imagine that Elaine ever was the sort of mother who would kind of maybe hammer into her kids' brains that maybe
yeah.
don't be like that with the other
Yeah,
kids. You know
or
what I mean?
even
Like,
hold her accountable if Linda had
yeah,
come home and been like, "Oh, we played this joke on this
yeah.
girl," and Elaine, "Ah, you're just so
Ah, you're so
popular, Linda. Have a drink."
popular,
Ah.
Linda. Uh, so yeah, B does
Yeah,
not have great memories of Linda at all.
no.
I don't know if it's going to be a simple case of Linda made this girl's life hell and she didn't deserve it, because I feel like there's slightly more to uncover with B, a little bit.
Yes,
Don't you?
I felt like that when she was skipping forward a bit, but when she was actually at the boutique hotel or the B&B,
Yeah.
there was an air to her of "You're not everything that you seem, are
Mm.
you?" Which I did,
Well,
yeah,
Well, there was more to it than because Honey and B end up swapping bags. I mean, in another life, I think B and Honey would have been the best of friends because they are
yeah,
actually quite similar in many ways. I
yeah.
think they both
Got
got
the
that
same
sort of.
handbag.
They've got the same handbag, and they were also both quite eccentric. And I
Yeah.
feel like they'd either absolutely despise each other or they'd absolutely love each other.
Yeah, yeah, they'd clash or they'd get
Yeah,
on. Yeah,
exactly.
this time.
And there is time. And then, so what happens is they find the address of B in her handbag and go to return the bag. And when they get to this address, they see B being chucked out of the
Hmm.
house by her partner, husband, boyfriend. I feel like boyfriend, not
Landlord?
husband. Chucked out because she didn't have her key,
Yeah.
which seemed odd, and
Very odd. Very
then
odd.
was being called a parasite and all of that kind of thing. So I was sort of like, yeah, well, yes, at the face of it, this is just a mean man being horrible to her, but at the same time, it's sort of like parasite's an odd thing to say in that situation unless there's smoke without fire, It seems like there's maybe more to it.
That's why I was wondering, was he a landlord? Because for me, I don't know, she didn't seem like she was like, oh, please, we can make it work. She
I
accepted it quite easily.
I thought that they'd established it was a partner of some
Oh, did they
description.
actually
I think they
establish
did.
that?
Yeah, yeah.
Oh,
I think they
right.
did. I think they did. Someone will tell me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure that it was. I got certainly got the impression that it was a partner anyway.
I got the impression that we were supposed to interpret it as her partner, but
Oh,
then I was like, well,
oh,
she's not really
Detective
arguing it
Ree is
like a
on the
partner.
case.
I mean,
I mean, it's
I've got a
like
board out back.
it's like doing a podcast with Detective Inspector Slater. So what ends up happening is B goes to the boutique hotel and ends up staying there. What I think is going to happen from this is that it's going to be the word parasite. I think is going to be quite relevant because parasite would imply somebody who is constantly sort of taking.
Yeah.
And I feel like Linda is going to start feeling really, really guilty about the way that she treated B at
Hmm.
school, and B is going to take advantage of that.
Yes, I've been thinking that. Or is it going to be that she's secretly held this grudge for years and try and get back at Linda in any way she can? And she's going to end up getting with Max, who's got a lot of money as well. And then it'll mean that Linda starts getting a bit jealous because even though she didn't want Max, she didn't want
Well,
B to be with
I
Max.
mean, you say Max has got a lot of money. He was job hunting this week, so
That is true.
he's not
But he's
completely
always
like
been like,
flush.
he paid off Lauren's, debt straight away, didn't he,
Yeah,
when she'd
and
stolen
now he
that
needs a job.
money?
And now he needs a job because
True.
he's spent all his money on sorting people's problems
But
out.
like with Zoe, we're helping. Yeah, he
Yeah,
paid for Zoe's
why he needs a
investigator at the
job?
time and stuff.
Mm.
Or does he need a legit job? Because what he's
Well,
doing is actually
yes,
dodgy.
indeed. Would be. I don't know how long I don't know how long this story is. I don't know whether that she was
No.
a new regular or whether she's just a guest character or anything like that. She does.
Yeah.
I've got to be honest. She doesn't give me vibes of someone who's going to be around for ages.
There is time. I don't know. I know what you mean. For me, it may be like a few months, a year, but
Well, I've already seen theories that she's the pregnant woman in the bed on the flash forward. So
to me, it
anything's
seems
possible.
likely that she's going to have a connection to Max. I think
Do you
that's
think
going to
so?
be
You
what.
think you're
Yeah,
clipping her
yeah,
to Max? Are you okay?
yeah, definitely. I mean, like I say, she can get at Linda in that way. It gives Linda a reason to start getting a bit jealous, maybe, and wonder about her feelings. I don't want to say that she'll be either of the women there by Christmas Day. I think
Mm,
by New Year's Day, sorry, next year, because I think Max is such a quick worker. It could
yeah,
be, it could be anyone. I think he might have a little fling with her. It'll make Linda
probably.
realise actually I do quite like Max more than I thought, and that might be a
Yeah.
part in it.
I don't know about Linda and Max. As long as Linda isn't the bride on New Year's Day, I won't mind it. But that'll be the deal breaker for me if Linda ever gets married to somebody else on New Year's Day, especially the person who is kind of responsible for the Mick and
Their
Linda
marriage breaking
relationship
down.
going down, and thereby Mick getting with Janine, and then Mick going into the sea. I would say it
Yeah,
all kind
but
of boiled.
Rob, you know
Max
what?
was the catalyst.
It's EastEnders, so it could
Mm.
happen. I think you just might have to suspend your belief and think
I
that it could
shall
actually be
suspend
Linda.
nothing. I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. But as far as B's concerned, yeah, interesting. I like the idea of sort of scratching away a little bit at what Linda used to be like. I can totally
Yes.
picture her as a mean girl, but I
Hmm.
also feel like there's a little bit more to B than meets the eye, and I feel like Linda is going to be taken advantage of big style. Is my prediction.
Okay.
Right, final storyline of the week, ladies and gentlemen, and this is Ravi taking one hell of a trip. So, final storyline of this week, and this is Harry's revenge on Ravi, which really begins to unfurl this week. Him and Nicola have obviously got a
Hmm.
plan of some description, and Nicola has decided that the way to punish Ravi for what he did to Harry is to give him a taste of his own medicine,
Mm,
literally, because she
quite literally.
orders a batch of drugs in order to give him one hell of a time. Now, my first
Yes.
question is, what are these drugs that make someone do this? I know they are a thing.
Is it? I just thought it was like acid or something.
Acid.
Something that makes you hallucinate, surely.
Well, it was a powdery thing because she managed to stir it into his drink,
Mm.
wasn't it? So it was some sort. I mean, I don't know if acid comes in powder form. You're the person I always turn to when it
I
comes
was
to
just going to
drugs.
say, well, Rob, actually, acid
Yeah.
comes in a variety of. I have no idea. I don't know.
That's
either.
the one you avoid, is it? Oh, that's a rule.
Yeah,
That's a rule.
that's what I've not touched.
Yeah,
That, yeah.
no, don't do that. But yeah, Nicola spikes
Yeah.
Ravi's drink because obviously she's been leading Ravi to believe that there's no beef between me and you. Like, yeah, Harry might be being a bit bolshy here and ever now, but as far as I'm concerned, me and you are the best mates. You know, we've got history. We're colleagues. You know, come into my bar whenever you like. And so Ravi comes into the bar and
More
promptly
fool
gets
Ravi or
spiked.
what?
I know, right?
When you
I
put it
would.
like that, Rob, what
Yeah,
were you
come on.
thinking?
Bearing in mind that you have dangled one of her children over a bridge and the other
Yeah.
one you held captive whilst you were force feeding him heroin. I would not be trusting
No.
Nicola Mitchell in those circumstances, especially with something I was about to consume.
Yes, so true in it, but hey ho, he does.
He
More fool
does.
Ravi.
Yep, because he takes these drugs and goes
Mm.
on one hell of a trip, and Harry then kind of leads him into the archers and leaves him in the pit. Now,
Yes.
pause there with Ravi, because meanwhile, Suki and Eve are having their adoption meeting, and
Yes.
Suki has made it quite clear that she does not want Ravi there, and I can again understand this. I think it's not unfair, given what has happened.
I also think that they've done really well in covering up the fact that Balvinda was off filming Strictly at the time, and they've kind of made it work.
Yeah, is this where she
Yeah.
was? Yeah, because she's sort of been flitting backwards and forwards, but she's not been in
Yeah.
it a massive amount over the past few
Yeah.
weeks. I think. Yeah.
But that really worked actually, just being like, oh, by the way, she said she don't want you there. It weren't until the episode ended that I was like, oh yeah, she'll have been doing Strictly.
Yeah.
It didn't matter that she wasn't there really.
I quite like Davani this week, just not interested in any of it. I'm just hungry. I just want to
Yeah,
eat.
fully fair. Yeah,
Fully
what
fair.
Dad's missing? Well, can I just get the takeaway
so
while
what?
it's
Can
hot,
I
please?
just eat my pizza, please? That would be
And
great.
what?
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
He'll be fine. So Ravi's missing, so they have to go out and search for him.
Yes.
Ravi, meanwhile, is tripping balls in that pit, isn't he?
He is tripping balls, I'll give you that.
One hell of a trip. And we get a unannounced, always love it, unannounced return this week
Unspoiled.
of Mr. Nish Panesar.
Wow. Yes,
Wow.
wasn't expecting that.
I wasn't expecting that. We got his voice as the Duff Duff, and I was sort of like, oh, are they? I wasn't sure. I was like, have they clipped something and stuck it over as audio?
Yeah.
Are we going to see him at all? So I wasn't convinced at the end of the Duff Duff that we were going to see Nish, but then the next episode, there he is.
I even thought if they AI'd it, like if they just AI'd his voice, I wonder if that'll be a thing soon.
You mean like they did with Pat?
Like some people thought, that wasn't me, by the way.
No.
In case people think that was me, no.
So Rabbit. Yeah, well, it could have been, but no, we do have him back. Navin Chowdhury returned for a little brief appearance, and I mean, I liked it. I mean, I don't know. It's one of those things where it's like, what drugs did you take in order to get you here? But I suppose it's a case of, you know, whatever drug he was taking. Ravi is already, I think, not in a great place mentally. I'm suspecting. So,
toying with his conscience, I think, at the minute, and that's probably quite at the forefront, considering he killed his dad, you know, his second dad.
2 dads he's killed now. So I bear in mind that this stuff is probably going to be somewhere in his brain, you know.
Exactly.
A drug that sort of coaxes these sorts of negative emotions out of you is going to have a ball with Ravi, you know.
Yeah. I feel like you're right, though, in a way. Like, we're saying some kind of drug. I think they could have told us, like, Nicola could have said to Harry, like, oh, I've got such and such.
I don't know about that, because that does suggest, what a good idea, can some psycho say as they're watching EastEnders, you know?
Oh, do you reckon that's what it is? Oh, maybe, yeah, not thought of that, but it just would have been interesting to know what it is that...
Frankly, Rhea, I'm glad that you don't know this information, because I know what you like. I could annoy you one week, and
it must be something that you can't get easily on the streets, put it that way, Rob, because I've never heard of it.
She had to order specially. She had to order it in specially with her contacts.
Exactly, yeah.
Bear in mind, Nicola is dangerous as a person, really, isn't she? Because she's got these contacts where somebody will quite cheerfully send her something for her to spike someone's drink in her club. I mean, it's so... There are times with Nicola. I mean, I love Nicola to pieces. I think she's a fantastic character. But there are times where you literally have to look at her sometimes and think, there's an evil in you.
I'll tell you something. If she gets caught, her license is out of the window, spiking your own customer with
yeah,
drugs.
It's not great, is it?
Wow. The amount of licensing rules she's broken there.
You think the Vic's getting bad reviews recently? Wait till you read Harry's Barnes review. I
Wait
left
for
that
it.
bar absolutely off my tits and hallucinating my dead dad. I suspect the barmaid spiked me with some drugs. Yeah, not great. So yeah, we see Nish again, and he is taunting Ravi, and I thought the trip scenes, as I guess they're called, were actually really well directed. I thought there was some nice kind of one shots where like you'd see Nish in the background, and then the camera would sort of follow Ravi around, sort of freaking out, and then return back to the spot where Nish was, and he'd be gone, or he'd be in a different place. I thought it was really well sort of filmed, that bit.
Very true, actually. They were really well done. But my only thinking, as much as I really enjoyed seeing Nish, don't get me wrong, I'm like really conflicted because a part of me also thinks, are they bringing these characters back? Are they bringing people back too often? But then I understand that it was kind of necessary for it to work in the way that it did.
Yeah, I'm not there yet. I think that I mean, you could argue we did just kind of do hallucinations is what I was trying to say there, with sort of the Nigel stuff, and but that was done in a very different tone.
Very different,
Yeah, and I feel like actually the idea that Ravi would see Nish at that moment actually felt really in character. I think it was right. I don't think that the story was, they kind of thought, oh, I want Ravi to see Nish, so we'll construct this around it. I feel like it was kind of like, Ravi's going to be given these drugs, and I think he would see Nish at the moment,
Yeah, that's true, because they could have done it, they could have still done this storyline and it not be Nish or him having some kind of other trip, I guess. But yeah, I don't know. But I did enjoy seeing him, and I thought
I was expecting to see Ranveer
very
as well,
cleverly done.
Yeah, I was expecting to see Ranveer as well, to be fair. So maybe that would have been just a pair of them stood over him, taunting him. Maybe that could have happened as well. I don't know.
Yeah, I agree. Ranveer would have been good. When you said earlier, it were two dads, I thought, where were Ranveer? But yeah, Nish felt more fitting though, didn't he?
I mean, Nish is just a great villain though, isn't he? Like, it's something about Navin's performance as Nish where, like, the second he's on screen, everything just feels 10 times more sinister.
Yes. And especially considering he's nothing like it in real life. I still see a bit of Kurt from Teachers, I'm not going to lie.
Well,
right?
He's a nice man
but that just
life.
shows how varied he is, because Kurt couldn't have been a completely different character to Nish if you tried. I'm sure some people watch Teachers and know what I'm on about there.
Yes. So yeah, Ravi is sort of he's escaped the pits because he's had a whole episode in here where like he thought Nish was driving him away, and Nish is taunting him. He gets out of the back of the archers because the plan was for Harry to stay with him and just kind of turn the screws more, I expect. But Billy has kind of dragged Harry away to have a Chinese, and Harry's like, all right, I'll go and have a Chinese, fair play, leave you in the pit, it'll be fine. You'll still be there the next day, right? But he gets out the back fire exit, which again, that fire exit, I swear hasn't always been there, but they've made use of it recently, haven't they?
No, I feel like it
must have always been there.
Yeah, that they've done it recently. I feel like it has been there a few times now, so we can accept that it's there now.
But Ravi sort of wanders around the streets. Obviously, his family are now looking for him, and just as sort of hallucinogenic Nish is tormenting him and it's reaching its peak, Nugget, unfortunately, comes around the corner. Terrible timing. And Ravi attacks what he thinks is Nish, and actually attacks Nugget, and knocks him unconscious and beats him up. And then staggers off and collapses in a yard somewhere, leaving Nugget.
Did not see that coming, did you?
No, I was worried because I'm like, can this not be the end of Nugget, please? I don't want that. Thank you very much. He's in a coma.
Well, it can't be the end. You can't get rid of Nugget. I'm not being there's just actually so much like potential for him as a character.
Oh, huge!
Anyway.
I love Nugget. I think he is my favourite of the kids. Do you know what I mean? Like, of all the young cast at the moment. Like, he's not been given enough to do recently. And I hope that this is maybe the start of a bit more Nugget.
This is what I'm going to ask though. Are you scared that Nugget's gone? Because I'm not. I'm like, there's no way they're getting rid of Nugget. Like I said, there is genuinely too much potential.
Yeah, I think he's in a coma. I feel like no, I don't think. I think he's going to be fine. I think he's going to be fine. What I did enjoy was Vinny, another typical Vinny moment, who kind of happens upon Nugget and is staring at this body on the ground and says, "Ravi, is that you?" Because Nugget and Ravi look exactly alike, don't they? This big beefcake of a man and a teenage boy. They look exactly the same.
It was dark though. I think we were supposed to believe he couldn't see. No, I know.
So have you taken some
Nugget
of these
was wearing
drugs, Vinny?
quite a distinguishable coat as well, I feel.
Yeah,
but there we go.
They are completely different
Vinny.
heights. They are completely different sizes. It's Vinny, isn't it? Bless him.
Vinny's not good at anything that he tries to do, Rob. Come on, when will people?
Not
well,
quite
except
anything.
for one thing.
Can't from anything.
Hey,
Thank you,
wink,
Penny.
Wink, nudge, nudge.
We got some very intimate details about Vinny this week, didn't we, from Penny?
Didn't we? I feel like that's very in character for Penny to be like someone who we hear these kind of details from, as well.
Well, it's the fact that she seemed so much more delighted with sleeping with Vinny than she did with Harry.
Yeah, and that's so true. Well, there you go.
Bless Vinny. I didn't have him down as being better in bed than Harry was, but apparently.
Well, there you go.
There you go. He's up there with Phil Mitchell as one of the best lays in Walford, it would transpire.
So, I think it's going to be Penny's baby as well that Jack's got. I think Penny might be in danger, from this.
Yeah, I think so. This may be the start. Maybe we said that maybe nothing was done with the flash forward this week, but maybe actually we got a couple of seeds.
Couple of seeds. One brain.
Deary me.
Yes.
Deary me. Yes, possibly actually. This could be the start of. I don't want Penny to go. I don't
want Penny to go either. Or maybe she's in hospital or something. Maybe she doesn't die, but she's like in hospital.
Jack looked too depressed on that New Year's Day episode. You know what I mean? Like
there was loads of reasons he could be depressed. It was 10th anniversary of Ronnie, and now he's found out his brother's marrying her, and
yeah, we've
and actually he's impregnated Roxy as well.
I'm not being funny. If anyone has seen Corriedale this week, you will know that if Corriedale are going through with what they seem to be suggesting they're going through, you haven't seen it, so I don't want to spoil it for you. But there is Emmerdale, so it's not the one.
Anyone else, sir?
Yeah, fast forward a few seconds if you haven't seen Corriedale yet and you want to. They brought back a character that was very much dead. In fact, I'm fairly sure the corpse was seen.
I've seen a meme of this. Yeah.
So I'm not being funny. No one will ever tell, unless he is a twin. It transpires. Nobody will ever tell me that the sisters can't come back if that's happened.
I agree. We all know that they can come back. Do you know what I'm going to say, right? I'm going to put this out there now, because I know some people comment and say, we need to get over it, Ronnie and Roxy.
You can get over it if you like.
That I agree. And no, but they're not saying it that bluntly, to be fair. Like, I think you need to let go of them coming back.
No.
Right.
No, thank you.
I will let go if it's neither of those two next year on New Year's Day.
Oh, will you? That'll be the moment for you, will it?
Yeah, because I feel like that would be the perfect time for them to come back on the 10th anniversary. Something to do with Max, who's obviously very heavily linked to Jack, Ronnie, and Roxy. Roxy's got a kid with him. Ronnie was. If it doesn't happen next New Year's Day,
you're done.
Will stop saying
you're
done.
Come back. Are you? Yeah. You're gonna leave me to push this on my own, are you? If it's not them next year,
I'm like, Rob, get over it. They're gone. They're dead. We saw it happen. They can't bring them back now. Mm-hmm. But so I've got one more year of praying that Ronnie and Roxy are coming back.
So buckle in, people that don't think they're ever coming back. Got at least another year of this left. But yeah, so Nugget's in a coma. It's not looking great for him, but I think he's going to be okay. And Ravi is currently sort of passed out in a yard somewhere. I think the same yard that Ben passed out in when he was on drugs. So I think we can now christen that yard Off Your Tits on Drugs yard. And
Harry hid the gun there, didn't he, as well? Yes. I think it's the same yard as where Harry hid the gun.
Yeah, which means that he kind of, because I'm fairly sure that the yard with the gun I thought was just outside the arches, so he literally sort of did a little circle on himself and then
possibly, yeah. I think it is close by. Well, talking of Nugget, by the way, we had that scene of Nugget and Nicola in McClunkey's. Oh
yes, I liked that.
Where Nicola's like, drugs. I don't know. Oh God, everyone's going to be saying that's me now, aren't they? Where Nicola's
you are Nicola Mitchell, aren't you? Wow, I didn't think of it. You own a bar. You've got so many drug connections.
Don't say this now, blooming out. Don't put this out there. For anyone who doesn't have a clue about what we keep joking about,
he's a drug addict.
No, I have been on the receiving end of very strong and harsh allegations that I am, apparently, due to how I've presented myself in this podcast that you're watching.
It's not even that. Ree was, if you missed the episode where Ree was in Turkey, her connection sounded weird. And it made, I didn't even notice it, but it made
it did sound weird, to be fair.
It made her voice sound like she was either drunk or had taken something.
Yeah.
And the comment section.
I think that's harsh, though. Like, it sounded like I'd taken something. I just sounded a bit slurry for some reason. That's how my mic decided to work that week.
But give me a crumb like that and I will run with it.
And quite a few viewers as well, it would seem.
There you go. We've got a new in-joke with the podcast. Anyway, we always love them. But yes, what were you going to say?
But anyway, So Nicola was acting all innocent to Nugget and
Yes.
being like,
Yeah.
"Oh well," because
She
Nugget
is.
was saying, "Oh, I'm a bit scared that he might have taken something," and she was like, "Oh, is that what are drugs? I don't even know what drugs are. I
I've never
don't
heard
run
of a
in those
drug.
kind of
You think he's
circles at
taking a
all."
paracetamol? Maybe. Did he have a
He'd
headache?
be okay with the paracetamol,
Yeah,
Nugget. Don't
vitamin
worry.
tablet, perhaps.
Yeah,
Yeah, and she was trying to. I mean, she did make some good points in the sense that because I think Nugget was trying to say, he's a good man, and I
yeah,
can understand Nicola's perspective where she's like, "Is he? He's dangled one of my children over a bridge, and the other one he
yes,
kidnapped. I
yeah.
don't think he's a very good man whatsoever." And
Hmm.
then Nugget sort of stormed out, and Nicola had the nerve to look surprised. So I looked really
Yeah,
offended. Where are you going? Sport you chips.
I feel like Nugget can see that Ravi's trying to change though, because before that he'd agreed with why Suki had said, "I don't want him there," and he said something like, "Well, Dad, you're not, on paper a really good role model, are you?" But then
The
was
thing is,
standing up for him
yeah,
towards Nicola.
the thing is with Nugget though, he does this with the sort of male
That's true.
role figures in
Yeah,
his life, doesn't he? He did it with Nish,
yeah.
and I can see him doing it with Ravi, like defending him to the absolute
Mm.
halt. And probably being one of the only ones left that will do that. So
Always trying to see the good in them for what
this
good he's
might
done him.
change. This might change things from that perspective
Yes.
slightly.
Well, this is it. So do you think Nugget will remember anything after the coma? Because I feel like they could
There
have
is that.
easily done all of this without him having that scene with Nicola. So I feel like that's going to be relevant somehow, but I just can't figure
True,
out how.
true. I feel like Ravi's certainly not going to remember anything.
No. But
But
do you
then
think he'll remember that he hit somebody that he thought was Nish in the same place where Nugget was attacked and put the dots together?
I don't know because he was that gone. If he is literally fighting with somebody who he doesn't think he doesn't know is there, I feel like he
Mm.
was that far gone. He's not going to remember any of it. I think he'll
I feel
remember.
like he might
I feel
remember
like I'd.
some bits though,
Yeah,
maybe.
maybe. I don't know. I feel like he'll remember that he apparently took something or was given something and was having a mad old time. But I don't think
Mm.
he'll remember necessarily the details of it.
Yeah, true. And like where he
Possibly.
actually was. Because in his mind, he might not have been there anyway, I guess.
I think that Nugget will remember when he comes round,
Yes, I hope so. But
and
then, like
then
I say, I just feel like will Nugget put it together that it were Nicola somehow, or will Ravi figure it out? Or is everyone just going to think that Ravi chose to take drugs and did it himself? And do you think that's the
honestly,
route they're going down?
honestly, I think Harry will say something because I think Harry will quite enjoy that he was responsible
Yeah,
for it. And I think
yeah.
he will taunt Ravi, and then Ravi will work it out that it was to do with the Mitchells, and then
Ah, maybe, yeah,
World
yeah.
War Three will kick off
Well,
in Albert
I
Square.
think Ravi will know that it was something to do with the Mitchells, but nobody will
Mm,
believe him. And everyone will say, "Oh, you've just not changed. You said you'd changed. You're clearly out there doing drugs now. And,
mm.
we were all waiting for you for some food." And he'll be like, "But it were the Mitchells," but no one will believe him.
Yeah,
I think that might be it.
time will tell. Gold star this week, Ray.
Right, I'm torn. Part of me wants to give it to Ravi because
Mm.
I just think that Aaron Tiara did a
He was
really
very good,
stellar
really
performance of
strong.
it,
Yeah,
like
yeah, yeah.
really
Really
believable.
good.
I'm that close, but I actually think I'm gonna have to give it to Alfie
Oh,
for
okay.
holding the Slaters together at the minute. I feel like
Interesting.
Alfie deserves it this week.
Okay, fair. And I will give mine to
Close.
Ravi. I am going to give mine to
Yeah,
Ravi.
okay, good.
I thought,
There we go.
like you say, Aaron was fantastic in what he was
Yeah.
doing this week. So yeah, a week that I think started off very odd and then grew quite strong by the time we got to the end of the week. I thought the whole
Yes.
trip scenes, I wasn't sure when they first started. I was like, I don't know how well, I don't know. But then by the time we got to him seeing Nish, and
Yeah.
I thought it was actually quite an interesting little study of where Ravi's brain is at the moment.
I agree, yeah. And it was all very
Because
well done.
Yeah, because he is somebody who actually has gone through quite a lot. Some of it of
Mm.
completely his own making, granted. But
Hmm.
I don't. Where are you in terms of redeeming Ravi for what he did to Harry, though? I don't know if we're there yet.
I feel like this is supposed to be
If it's supposed
like,
to be it,
oh,
yeah,
there we go. They've got the revenge. Now
yeah,
Ravi can go
yeah.
back to being good Ravi, and this is supposed to be it. But he's still, I don't know. It is a hard one though because he has seemed like he does feel like genuine remorse for some of what he did to
It's a
Harry. But then
bit
when he were
late
doing
for
it
the
at the
remorse, though.
time,
Yeah, it's too
yeah, but
late
when
for
he
the
were doing it at the
remorse.
time, he did not care. There was not one part of him that were like, I shouldn't be doing this. And to Kurjo, let's not forget
Yeah,
Kurjo
I
was
mean, this is the
involved in
thing.
it
Like,
all.
Ravi is. If we're going to suddenly like start studying Ravi's mental health, and
Mm,
we're going to start feeling sorry for Ravi, it's sort of like, yeah, I'm really struggling with my mental health at the moment after I cuckooed a guy and
yeah,
locked another one up and force fed him heroin. I'm really struggling with my emotions at the moment. It's sort of like,
yeah.
what might be interesting is if we're doing that with both Ravi and Harry and putting them together in battle whilst they're both struggling with their mental health. That might be an interesting sort of
Yes,
psychological study,
true.
I think.
Hmm.
But
Sorry,
we'll see.
whilst we're on it
Go on.
though, very quickly,
Yes.
Harry's recovered very well from his heroin addiction. What, we're at rehab for 2 weeks?
Yeah, he was only in there for 2 weeks. I feel like he hasn't. I feel like I don't know if he's totally recovered from it because he's a lot more sort of. I think he's a lot more intense since he came back. Like
True.
especially with Ravi. Like there was a moment in the square this week where like he bumped into Ravi and sent his coffee
Mm.
flying or whatever, and like the look in his eyes was like really sort of feral. So I wonder if he's putting his addiction into his anger towards Ravi at the moment.
So he's putting all of that focus onto
Mm.
Ravi, which, yeah, but I think that's fair enough. And even if
Oh
he,
yeah,
like, hadn't, like, considering Ravi's walking around living this seemingly happy life
yeah.
while he don't want to get with Gina whilst he's in recovery, his dad's gone down, like, he's lost Barney, all
Mm.
because of everything that happened because of Ravi. It kind of makes sense. But I don't know. I think they could have shown maybe a little bit of him struggling. He did have, like, two major overdoses.
Yeah, he did. But then I also feel like he's had some moments where he's been like, I need to keep busy. So I feel like they haven't forgotten
True,
it
actually,
entirely.
yeah. Okay,
So
yeah.
I feel like he's very much thrown himself into this revenge plan in order to sort of keep
Yeah.
himself busy,
Yeah.
so to speak. So
Okay.
I don't think we've seen quite the end of the
All
drug
right.
journey with Harry yet, but we shall see.
Okay.
And final section of the podcast, ladies and gents, is some comments from you.
So we've got a comment here from Daisy Lakin who says, I loved last night's episode. I do think all characters coming back is being overdone a smidge, so it has a bit less impact, but I thought it was actually really fitting that Ravi saw Nish, and I felt like we never really saw Ravi deal with what happened other than a few days straight after, so it tied up some loose ends for me. Harry and Ravi were amazing in the episode.
Yeah, and that's exactly where
Nice.
I'm at. I think that kind of takes both our points and puts them in one, doesn't
Yeah.
it? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not there yet with the like, we're here again with a flashback return or whatever. To be honest with you, I'm not there yet, but I can see,
Yeah.
why people might be like,
I am a little bit now, I think. It did lose the impact for me.
mm,
It would have been, I don't know though how much of a break you need to have because my mind didn't automatically go to Pat and Barry because like you said, that was done in such a different way.
mm.
But I do feel like it lost its impact a little bit for me, I must admit.
I don't know
As
because I
much as
just,
I loved seeing it though, like I
yeah,
enjoyed it.
I just think because I think just because it made so much story sense to me, I was sort of like, yeah,
Yeah,
of course you'd seen this at that moment. Do you know what I mean?
yeah,
Like it, and what Daisy does say there is that it's going to be interesting to see if this is the start of us really sort of unraveling
mm,
Ravi's mind when it comes to the Nish stuff and the Ranveer
yeah,
stuff and everything, which necessarily has not been full on addressed yet. If this is the
yeah,
start of that, then bring it on, I say. I don't know.
yeah. I agree because he's not really thought about it since it happened. It were only a year ago, weren't it? So yeah,
And I
maybe it
mean,
is the start.
are they going to maybe try and push the whole cuckooing plot happen because that was his messed up way of dealing with something in his head? Is that what they're
It
going
was
to do?
like his distraction almost from it.
Yeah.
Like Harry's chucked himself into getting his revenge on Ravi.
Mm.
Ravi just used that as a distraction from what he'd done to Nish.
Distraction techniques are dangerous. Is that going to be the story? I wonder. Annalise Bazara says Ravi will be so upset. Priya might not forgive. Seeing and hearing Nish through Ravi's hallucinations was fun for us, if not for Ravi. Yesterday, I thought B was a one-off, but nope. Now I think she'll be around a while and trouble, and possibly (brackets probably) get involved with Max. Now I'm
Mm.
wondering if Ollie's troubles were only to give Linda the excuse to go and find her and will be dropped. Minnie Mo. I thought Minnie Mo was very cute this week with Lily and Jasmine and the family rundown that remembered Kyle exists. Jasmine's really been way more open and relaxed these days. The shiftiness seems gone. It's quite a bit to unpack there. B being up, yeah. I mean, I think it's again with the fact that we've got the flash forward. It's going to be one of those things where, like any character now, we're going to like, especially a
Yeah.
new character comes in, we're going to be
Yeah.
watching them like a hawk. I didn't get the sense that B is going to be that involved with the flash forward, but I could be wrong.
I mean, I think it's way too early to decide that either way. But I do think that it'd be a waste if she doesn't somehow have some involvement with Max, so that they at least make us think, oh, it's B, she's going to be the one
Mm.
in the flash forward, and
Well,
then it doesn't end up being her.
well, like we said during
Mm.
flashback week, whoever is pregnant in that bed needs to be pregnant soon for to be that pregnant. Even if I got it wrong with the fact that she's giving birth during that episode, though I do still think
Mm.
she does. Um, they need to be that pregnant by the time New Year's Day comes
Mm.
around, so that needs to
Hmm.
happen soon.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, in the next few months, definitely.
Yeah.
I mean, Max don't waste any time. I'm sure he can impregnate someone in the next few months. Just who?
Yeah, just who.
Kathy Verhan Kettner says, showing us the experience Ravi was going through and what was going on in his head in this episode was brilliantly acted, written, directed, all of the above. Gold star. Damn though, I hope Nugget pulls through. I don't know if Priya will forgive this.
Yeah, I mean, where is the Ravi and Priya relationship going after this? Because is this forgivable, do you think? I
Well,
mean, it's not his fault that he did that, but at the
but
same
also
time,
it technically
also it kind of
is.
is because he's being punished for something that he definitely deliberately did. So,
Exactly. So it depends how deep Priya takes it and how badly Nugget is, I guess. I mean, I think Nugget will make it through, but I do think it's going to throw a spanner in the works for Ravi and Priya for a
mm,
good few months in between.
mm.
It'd be absolutely surprising if Priya goes, "Oh yeah, Ravi, it weren't your fault at all. You were drugged. It weren't. You didn't know what were going on. You know, can't see that happening, can you?"
I don't know. With Priya, it seems that she is very defensive of Ravi when she has to be, and
Yeah,
I
but it's
think
Nugget.
it is
It's
Nugget. Yeah,
Devinder. Come on.
it's a different kettle of fish when it starts involving the kids.
Mm,
But I don't know. I think I can see Priya being angry initially, but she's already done her anger at Ravi for what happened with Kojo and Harry.
yeah,
So I do
true.
wonder if like that will get pushed aside in order for her to sort of be at his side going to war with the Mitchells.
But you know what's going to happen, don't you? Maybe then. I
What?
wonder if Ravi is going to kind of remember, put the
Mm.
pieces together himself, but
Lie
not
about it.
admit it. Yeah.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
then that's when Priya will be like, I can't forgive you. You knew it were you. We've
yeah,
been
yeah,
looking for the guy that's done this to him for months, and all along it were you. Maybe
yeah,
it'll be
yeah.
go down that route.
Maybe. Finally, Becky L. Pickeringer said, actually, fantastic episode today. I know that by the end, Nishi's storyline had dragged on, but it was great seeing him again. Navin is just so fantastic at the role. I know there are mixed feelings on Jean, but her actress never fails to do a spectacular job. I like how her mania has taken a slightly different route compared to last time by involving some religious psychosis too. Stops it being too repetitive. Her last manic episode felt recent, even though it was years ago. The Kyle mention was a nice touch too. Yeah, I wasn't expecting. We had a couple of mentions this week actually. Patrick mentioned Isaac again, which
Yes.
surprised me because I've got the
Yep.
sense that we'd forgotten that he existed.
Yep.
And the same with Kyle as well, getting a proper mention this week when Lily was sort of
Mm.
talking to Jasmine about her new family tree. It was
Interesting. You
interesting.
don't think Kyle's going to come back, do you? Or do you think they just
No, I don't.
remembered to?
No,
No,
I don't
they
at all.
just remembered that he
Yeah,
existed and thought, oh, yeah, we'll mention
we'll
actually
mention
ages.
him. He's
Yeah.
there in the background being a
Yeah.
chef. So yeah, but Gene, yeah, I know there's a few people that are sort of like really getting that Gene's getting on their nerves a little bit now, and I can understand why, but she's just that sort of character, isn't she? Where it's sort of sometimes I feel like it's difficult to know what to do with Gene a little bit.
It's like I agree with what you said, to be honest. Stick with the detective stuff at the first part
Yeah.
of the week. I think I even really like you say the religious kind of side, the devil stuff. Yeah,
Mm,
fine. I don't mind that. That feels quite believable. But I think
mm.
it was the stuff at the start of the week just seemed a bit too silly, I think.
Agreed. So there we go then. That's it for this week, ladies and gents. Thank you very much for watching. Thank you very much for listening. Do not forget to be voting in the award ceremony for your favourites, or your favourite might not win the award, and that will be a travesty. Don't let it happen. And you can be in touch with us anytime you like by doing the following.
You can find us on Facebook at Albert Square After Dark, on Twitter and Instagram at E20 After Dark. If you're watching on YouTube, don't forget to like and subscribe. You can find us on Apple and wherever you find your podcasts. Drop us an email at e20afterdarkpodcast@gmail.com. And if you'd like to buy us a coffee, you can do so by going on buymeacoffee.com/E20 After Dark.
Yes, you can indeed. Once again, thank you very much for watching. Thank you very much for listening. We will be back same time next week. Until then, it's goodbye from me.
Goodbye from Ray.
See you next week. Goodbye.
Bye.